This is how I sell 100K a month on Amazon, literally doing nothing. And this is my live dashboard on Amazon. You can see I can refresh and the numbers don't change. Can't do that and edit that. So this video, I'm going to be literally sharing exactly how I was able to automate a lot of my Amazon business. Now, one thing to understand is this will not be an overnight, you just make your whole business automated. Okay. I've been selling on Amazon for over 3 years. I've sold well over $2 million, and this whole channel is really just sharing what's working for me, what's not, some of the mistakes I've made along the way, and just helping some of you guys take action on this business and just, some of the things you can do to make this into an actual business and not something where you're just self-employed. I'm hoping that a lot of you are not starting this business just to start it as a side hustle, because there is long-term scalability, and that is what I share on this channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys where to hire, my exact funnel for hiring top talent. Okay, this is so you do not get a bad, team member. This is how you start automating more of the process. And again, just, get to literally doing nothing, maybe not necessarily nothing, but how much you should pay your VAs, how to create them and make them more effective, basically some incentives that you can do. And then lastly, I'll be showing you guys exactly how you should be training your VAs and using them to scale to massive levels, okay? So this is going to be a very, very important video, and I really recommend that you guys watch this whole video, because I'm going to be teaching you a bunch of new things about VAs, what a VA is, how this whole process works. Essentially, in order to get this into a somewhat automated business, you need employees, okay? And the best way to do that is to hire employees overseas, okay? And so in my, best experience, this is kind of the funnel that I use for hiring really good VAs. So essentially, I start off on onlinejobs.ph. Now, I actually think it might be worth it to test some other places. I used to be really against Upwork and Fiverr and all these other places to hire, because I thought there wasn't good talent there. But there's got to be good talent everywhere. So maybe you don't have to restrict yourself to just onlinejobs.ph. But this, for me, has been the best place to go. I only hire women, and I only hire Filipinos. Up to you guys if you want to do the same thing, but I just find them the most loyal, hardest working. And yeah, that's where I go. So the next thing you want to really do is just create a job listing, okay? And essentially the biggest thing you'll need, especially if this is your first virtual assistant that you're going to be going for and hiring to, start building up this business, you're going to want someone for sourcing, okay? So someone who can find you more products and get you more sales, get you, more of an inflow of products coming in, okay? I'm going to be sharing the hiring script that I would recommend using. This is the script that I would recommend using. I'll actually leave this below the video so you guys can go ahead and use this completely free, just to kind of have something. Now, the biggest thing that's important here is these 3 questions. Now, if you know me, you know why this is super important. These 3 questions are very important because not only are you going to see the people that are just spam applying jobs, right? Because you will get probably 50 to 60 people that apply, and you'll maybe get 10 people that actually answer the question, maybe even less, okay? So you want to ask these questions to filter out, right? That's your first, little filter. And then the next thing you want to do is really this big one right here. This is the big question. Record a video telling me why you believe you are a good fit for this job. The reason why this is so important is because you are now hiring people overseas. So you need to see how good their English is, how enthusiastic they are, and just how much experience they really have. Now, obviously, if you're newer to Amazon and you're no expert by any means, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to know who's actually, knowledgeable. But you can hear the way someone's talking if they seem pretty confident in what they're talking about. You can kind of hear some of their experience, stuff like that. That's where you're going to be able to know, like, okay, yeah, this person probably, he knows something, right? So that's why that video is so important. Very crucial. A lot of people actually skip this video, but they might answer these 2 questions. And if you guys have that, I would ask them to say, hey, can you send me the video? You know what I mean? Just to, because the biggest thing is you don't want to waste your time interviewing a bunch of people, find out their English is bad, find out they're not actually that experienced. So that's why that video is super, super important. It just saves a ton of time, okay? And that will leave you with about 4 to 5 qualified candidates. Now, because you don't want to, waste your time, the best thing you can do is what I do, and that's I put them all on a paid 1-week trial, okay? You can either do an interview or you can just text them and do this. Interview is better because If you just text them, they might, they might fizzle out, which maybe they weren't a good candidate if they do that. But I would say do the interview, spend the time, do the interview, and then you pay them for a 1-week trial. Okay, you tell them, hey, I'm going to give you a paid trial, see how you can perform, do what you can. And out of the 4 to 5, qualified candidates that answer the questions, they seem qualified, you pretty much onboard the best VA or the person you see that has the most growth potential, someone who is really coachable, or just the best. Okay, typically I'm going to do the best because most of these people from the Philippines are very coachable. Okay, especially if they're answering your questions and they go through that whole video, they're going to be someone who's coachable. They want to do this, and so I just bring on the best VA. Okay, this is the best strategy ever because you're taking the best candidates and then you're putting through another filtering process where you can see how good they actually are. The other thing I've done is actually send them a test project so you can kind of see their knowledge. I don't think this is necessary. I used to do this, but it just adds friction. You know what I mean? Most VAs are not going to want to do this. They'll do the paid trial because they're getting paid, right? It's very important that you pay them on that trial because if you don't, they're not going to want to work and they're not going to be putting up the effort that you want. So tell them that they're paid and tell them they have a potential of a full-time position after the fact, okay? Very, very important. That's the funnel you want to use. Now, how much should you pay these guys? I start all my VAs off at $400 a month. This is not a crazy good wage for them. I was told that I thought this was a really, really crazy good wage for them. It is not, okay? So definitely give them an incentive that, hey, there is long-term to this. You will get bumped up. You will be able to make more money with the company because 400 is nothing crazy, but you can start them off with that and you'll get some pretty good talent. If you pay them more, you will get better talent. I've seen people try to pay VAs $200 a month. It's you're not going to get a good VA. So it's you can do that if you want, but you're not going to be, you're almost losing money in the long run because you're not going to be getting a VA that's performing very well. So keep that in mind. At least do 400, but work them up to at least, maybe 500, 600 a month. We'll get into a little bit more later. I want to share a really good tactic that you can do to make your VA really good at a very low cost. And then you usually want to pay them using PayPal or Wise. Wise, you specifically want to make a personal account. Okay, Wise is just a way you can wire transfer directly to their account, but do not make a business account. Just make a personal, and it works perfect. Okay, super, super easy to set up. And that's kind of the best way to pay. Wise is probably a little bit cheaper when it comes to fees, but PayPal, you can use a credit card. So if you have business funding and you want to be really aggressive with scaling the business, you'll have to pay them using PayPal because Wise, you have to use liquid bank money. You're using your bank account. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, how should we make them more effective? Okay, this right here is one of the most important questions because this is super, super game changing for you guys. So let me show you guys what you can do. The best thing you can do once you have your VA, right? See how their progress is. And then 1 to 2 months in, we are going to add an incentive, okay? So this is something that's basically you pay them a salary, the $400 a month, and then you also pay based off performance. And obviously if your VA is performing very well right now, this is gonna make them even better because what happens here, and the reason why you wait 1 to 2 months is because essentially the incentive that I always add, totally up to you guys if you wanna do the exact same thing, $5 to $10 bonus for each lead they find you purchase. That incentive goes a very long way for them because that is a lot more money. And like I said, if they're already performing well, now they're going to want to perform even better and they're going to want to have higher lead outputs. They're going to want to find more leads, right? Without really necessarily immediately changing your cost. And they're going to want to find higher quality products because you are not paying them unless you actually purchase the product. So if they send you a bunch of trash products, they're not getting the bonus. Okay. So this is a very crazy, easy incentive to add in, but creates, 100x on just the performance of your VA long-term. So this is something you definitely should add. Now, like I said, you need to wait the 1 to 2 months because if you give this right away, it doesn't really create that whoa feeling. You know what I mean? You kind of want to create that whoa feeling for them. And if you do it right away, it's, it's like getting a signing bonus for getting a new job. You don't really care about it, right? But when you do it 1 to 2 months in, most VAs are very pumped about that. They're like, wow, okay, this guy really cares about me. Okay. Now, how do you actually train and scale this to massive levels? Because one VA is not going to change your life. Okay. But it can show you what's really possible. The best way to train is using Loom. Okay. Loom is a Chrome extension that you guys can add. It's completely free. You can film up to 5-minute videos for free. If you want to do longer than that, you have to pay. That's what I'm using to film this video. And Loom is great because Loom, a lot of people, the reason why their VAs are not performing very well is because they'll have the spreadsheet of products that they're getting sent, and they'll have like a feedback tab, right? So let's say your VA sends you a bad product, you give them feedback, but that's it. You just send them a text, say, hey, like, you know, this doesn't look good because it's not very profitable here, or this doesn't look good because of blah, 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 blah. That's terrible. That is the worst way to train someone. Like, think about it. You are literally just texting them. And so there's no emotion, there's no nothing. You're not really going in depth with their product. The best way to train a virtual assistant is installing Loom, or you can do meetings. The reason why I do Looms is because it's quick. You can do it wherever you want. And, you know, meetings, you have to really, you know, you have to carve out some time for that, where Loom's a little bit low bandwidth, okay? The other thing with meetings is you're talking to someone overseas, so they're going to be at usually like a 12-hour time difference, so meetings is kind of difficult. You usually have to meet at like 8 a.m. their time, 8 p.m. your time, or vice versa, and that's difficult. So that's why I recommend using Loom. And what you want to do is actually film. So I'll put in the chat here. You want to film a Loom every day, going over their products, okay? This is important, and this is going to make them a lot better. The reason why I like Loom is because I feel like people, you know, learn better just also through kind of like emotion, right? So it's like having the Loom, whether you want to do a face cam like this, like I do, or not, you don't have to. But obviously just the fact that you're doing voice and you're actually like going over the product like live and like going over it, that's better. But also having the camera, I think, is really important because you show emotion, you show more of you, you get, you know, it just hits harder with the VA. So I would recommend doing the video if you're comfortable with that, and just film it every day, going over their output of leads. And that's an amazing thing to do. Now, the next thing you want to do, the reason why this will help you scale to more massive levels is because now you want to create a database of all those videos. Okay? So you want to create a database of all of those videos that you record. And I mean, that's going to give you a crazy good return on investment, because if you ever get another VA, now you have a bunch of videos that are recorded, a bunch of trainings that they can use right away, and it's just going to make them super, super good. Okay? So just keep that in mind. You can put this on like a Discord, you can put this in a Google Drive, whatever you want to put it. You just want to have that database of those videos so you can use them for later. Also, if you ever train systems, so one thing I have my VA do now, my managing VA, she actually purchases products for me. Okay, so you will need to train her how to do that. So you'll have to make a training video. And so anytime you make a new little admin task or any little task like adding a product to your store, you're going to want to make a system video for that so you can walk through the next VA on how to do that without having to jump on a call, having to make a new video, having to do anything. You can just send them, hey, here's that Loom on how to do it. Boom, now they know how to do it. It just saves a ton of time. So you want to make the system of the database of all those videos so it's very easy to find. You can name them. You can even put it on a Google spreadsheet, name it, make things super easy. And I would highly recommend that, okay? Now, the biggest thing that I can say is, like I said earlier, this is not something that happens overnight, okay? My first VA, I started off with sourcing. Then I showed her how to add products, how to do some more admin-y stuff. Now she knows how to order products, do admin tasks, do inventory, send stuff to prep centers. She knows how to do everything, okay? But it does take some time, so you have to be patient and understand that. It will not be overnight. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. One thing I usually do, so we actually do this process. I actually train some of my students' VAs. Like I'll go find and train them. I'll do this whole process for them. And then the other thing that I do is once we onboard the VA with them, we will actually give that VA another additional 1 month of training, okay? And this is super, super crucial because this is just going to really get them up to speed and make them even better. It'll also help, like, especially if you're someone who wants to get a VA, but you're not the most experienced. That is where having like us train a VA for you will definitely benefit you, because you're not going to know, what products are amazing or not. And so we'll review the products for you and also give your VA additional training. Yeah, so for those of you guys that are interested in having us just train a VA for you completely and do this whole process, as well as do the additional month of training, you can actually apply below this, or the best place to contact me is on my Instagram, okay? So this is my Instagram. It's Eric Cooper with 3 R's at the end. So if you just shoot me a DM and just say, hey, VA, you want a VA trained by me, that's perfect. Or if you guys just need any help, or you have any questions about kind of building up the business, you can shoot me a DM here, or like I said, you'll be able to apply to work with me one-on-one. So if you've been struggling with how to find products, you've been struggling with ungating, or you've been struggling with just kind of setting up this whole system and want me to help you one-on-one with that, then yeah, shoot me a DM or apply below this video, and I will see you guys later.